Hi friends, my name is Sarah. Welcome to my channel, Caffeine Queen Crafts. And today we are starting a detox, not of diamond paintings, of my books. My TBR pile, or To Be Read pile, has gotten totally out of hand. And since there's so many diamond painters that also read excessively, I feel like y'all are going to appreciate this. We're going to do my TBR Pile Detox. And I'm going to set that up, see how it goes. I'm going to film this over the course of a couple days. So the hair, the makeup, the clothes probably going to change. But I will take you along for the ride with me. We're going to have a good time. Okay. See you in a minute. Bye. It's not as bad as I thought. It's not as bad as I thought. I thought this was going to be bad. It's still too many. And I'm not knocking. I know some people have TBR piles way bigger than this. But this is too many for me. I'm overwhelmed. Sitting here looking at all of them. It's less than I was mentally prepared for it to be, but I still feel like it's too many. I've organized them kind of informally into piles. Fantasy, romantasy, more traditional romance, children's, nonfiction, other. This is like just this random historical one. Also, there was a spider in all of this, and I feel like it's on me. Proof that we needed to clean this up a little bit because they're all very dusty. I can feel the dust on my hands. Yeah, so we're going to dive in to making my, I don't want to say detox. I know I said detox in the intro, but just like my reduction journal. I don't know. That also sounds bad. I don't want to be like insensitive to like people for whom detoxing is actually a problem. But this is just my, we're going to stop buying books. We're going to work our way through these. This is out of hand kind of situation. All right. We're going to work on the notebook for back of a letter term, detox. We're going to use that term for lack of a better term. Wow. Until I can think of another one. If you can think of a term better than detox for not buying any more books or not buying any more diamond paintings and just focusing on what you have, let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, we're gonna wear this. I'm including Manhunt because I'm not that far. I'm less than halfway through it. So we're gonna go ahead and include it so that I can get this moving. All right, we're gonna do a time lapse of me setting up my journal pages, and we will be right back with how that's going. Okay, see you in a bit. I look awful, but we're rolling with it. So I know that I said we were going to do the time lapse and then flip through the pages, but I've decided I'm going to add 2 sections for the massive reading undertaking I've done, where I'm trying to read all of the Cosmere by Brandon Sanderson, and I'm trying to read every book in the Harry Bosch universe by Michael Connelly. Both are on audiobook format right now for me. So I'm going to add a section in for each of those 2. I'm not going to do them tonight because I'm really exhausted. And I still have to film my whip and chat. So, we are going to do that probably Saturday. It's Thursday today. So, yeah, probably Saturday. All right. So, stay tuned. And I will be back at you in a bit. Bye. All right. This wound up being way more involved and intricate than I realized when I started this journey, but here we are. We have the book Detox Journal. I bought this from a local paper store, the Papillion Press. I will link it down below. So we're just gonna flip through and update it because I decided to add sections to this, some of which I talked about in the breakaways, some of which I did not, but we're gonna go over it, okay? I'm also gonna preface this. My handwriting is not the best. I'm not an artist by any means, so this is not gonna be the prettiest notebook you've ever seen, but since this is my first time doing anything like this, I think it turned out pretty good. Here we go. So we have here, stop buying books, Sarah, 2025, and a little sticker, get it done. And then here's just a list, an inventory of all the books I have. I color-coded them by genre, nonfiction, fantasy, kids and YA, romance, romantasy, and other. Just color-coded, you know, and then completion lists for me to write them down in the order that I complete them. There's nothing there right now because I haven't finished any. And then the countdown stickers. So starts with 26, goes all the way down to 1 with Fiend. Genre wheels, so to color in each book as I finish it. I'm reading Manhunt right now, so that will be the first little slice of pie I color in. Yep. And then here are my loopholes. So I did give myself some loopholes in terms of books. So the first loophole I gave myself is I've been working on 2 pretty big book projects I've been trying to read. The first of which is I've been trying to read every book in the Hieronymus Bosch or Harry Bosch universe, which is quite an undertaking since there's like over 20. I'm allowed to get them as audiobooks. That is the first loophole. The second loophole is the book club book. I belong to a book club. The books can be very hit or miss. It's the Dark and Spicy Book Club at a local bookshop. And I'm going to say I'm allowed to read these books, but 9, 10 out of 10, they're available on Kindle Unlimited or at the local library, so we're going to be getting them as ebooks from now on, not physical books. The third exception is I am allowed to buy more Cosmere books, but only after I read the Brandon Sanderson stuff I already have in my TBR pile. I believe I have 2 Brandon Sanderson books in my TBR pile that I need to read before I will be continuing in the Cosmere, even in audiobook form. Then the next book in the Butcher and the Wren series, which is by Alana, I'm going to say her name wrong, Yukarasahava. It's a really great book series. I will link it, the first one down below. Excellent, excellent story of a serial killer and a medical examiner, thriller, horror, definitely not romance. Actually, funny story, at my local bookshop, I went into their romance section and they had The Butcher and the Wren in the romance stuff. And I said to the bookseller, you know, because it's a small shop and I happen to know he was the owner. I said to him, you know, you have The Butcher and the Wren back in the romance section, like on the romance table advertisement thing. And he goes, yeah, the book about the 2 serial killers that fall in love. And I go, oh, that's The Butcher and the Blackbird. The Butcher and the Wren is definitely not a romance. 100% not. The opposite of a romance, I would argue. But it's a series. Her last one ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. I need to know what happens next. So that is a loophole. I'm allowed to buy that book when it comes out. And then this is my in the meantime wish list. So any book I want to buy between now and then is going to go here. And I gave myself an extra page for that. Here's the Harry Bosch universe section, where this is not so much a detox as just me tracking the Harry Bosch stuff. And we're going to start getting into things. So here are all of the books in the Harry Bosch universe in order. You can see where I made some mistakes and crossed things out. I wrote the year they were published. I didn't write by, because obviously they're all by Michael Connelly. I wrote the year they were published. So you can see this goes back over 30 years, I guess. Wow. So very long series. Color-coded by the main character, Harry Bosch. Jack McAvoy, Terry McCaleb, Casey Black, Henry Price, and then the Lincoln Lawyer. And if there's crossover, like if one of the characters, so like here, you see A Darkness More Than Night has a green underline in it, that means Terry McCaleb is in that book. And I put a little smiley face in the correct color next to it. This one goes on for a while. There are 41 books in this series. For reference, and I left myself room because we all know there's going to be more. Because if you can't tell from the side here, he publishes 1 to 2 books a year. So there's definitely going to be more before I finish this. But I am currently listening to Bloodwork. So I'm only on book 7. This undertaking is going to take a long time. What we're going to go through, I have not marked off the books I read yet. So we're going to do that. So the first book, we have a sticker countdown, like we did in the first one. The first book in this series, I'm just using random stickers that I have. I have a lot of, it's the fun of being a teacher. You get a lot of random stickers. The first book in the Harry Bosch series, some of these I will say have not aged well because they were written in the early 90s and we just have different standards now. Is The Black Echo, where you get introduced to Harry Bosch. That's good. And then the next one I have to reference, I'm sorry, is The Black Ice, where you kind of get to see Harry in a new situation. He kind of has a different femme fatale in every book that he's dealing with. Then the next book in the series, the third book, is Concrete Blonde. That one was where it really picked up. If you've watched the series, that was the one where you met Honey Chandler, the lawyer, and things got really interesting. And there was the Serial Unaliver, my jam, you know. Fourth book is The Last Coyote. This one was sort of dark. It was him trying to, you know, figure out who murdered his mom, and that was sort of intense. Yeah, sort of intense is what we're going to go with. Here, we'll put down, I think the Among Us stickers are too big. Put down something. I say it's sort of intense, and I'm about to put a flounder sticker on that one. Whoopsies. Oh, well. All right. And then the fifth book in the series, I believe, was The Poet. Yes, it was. That was a good one. That one was not from Harry Bosch's perspective. That one was from a reporter's perspective, where he was figuring out there was a cop serial killer out there. Really good. And then the last book that I read in the Harry Bosch universe was The Trunk Music, which is very similar to its counterpart on the TV show, if you watch the TV show. So, that is where we are with the Harry Bosch universe. We still have a long way to go, as you can tell. And I left room at the bottom again. So, all right. We're going to color these in. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep doing them in the same color or if I want to kind of mix it up. I think I'm going to mix it up. I'm just going to mix it up. We're not going to pay attention to the color coding system that I previously developed. First book was The Black Echo. That book was all about, you know, introducing you to the characters. Harry Bosch is a detective at the Hollywood station. He used to work in a more advanced league until he unalived someone. That's the part of the book that did not age well, because again, in a post-George Floyd world, this book would not fly today. And then The Black Ice, which was kind of a continuation, more character development, everybody sort of, you know, doing their thing. The one thing I found interesting was that he was, you know, falling in love slowly with the victim's wife. And granted, they were, you know, separated when the book began, but that was a bit of a weird vibe to me, where I was like, well, that's a choice, my friend Harry. What you doing there? And then next up is The Concrete Blonde. Like I said, loved that one. I forgot to put The Last Coyote in. Whoopsies. Let's all just spiritually know it's there. Or here, here's what we'll do. Where does The Last Coyote goes? Yes. Okay. So The Concrete Blonde was when they were having the trial, the civil trial, to find out if Harry Bosch had wrongfully unalived a man, who had it turned out actually been a serial killer, but then maybe he wasn't because another victim popped up. It was a very interesting thing. You got to meet Honey Chandler. I liked this one a lot. There were a lot of twists and turns. Again, though, in the world we live in today, I don't think anyone would agree to publish that book. And then The Last Coyote, which was about him tracking down who killed his mom. His mother was a lady of the night, shall we say, who turned up dead. And it was a very twisty-turny book. This one had a way different ending than what I anticipated. If you've seen the show, the ending in the book was way different. I think I preferred the one in the show. And then last up, in terms of Harry Bosch books I finished, was Trunk Music. That one was fine. It was pretty standard, it felt like. I knew how it was going to end because, again, I saw the show. I didn't finish the show, but I saw the first few seasons. And I didn't think that was... It had a... Obviously, things are different in the book, so there were a couple things in his personal life that surprised me, but... Yeah, so that's where we are with that. And then we have more of that. Now, here's where we're going to pause. I have read ahead. I did start with a few books in The Lincoln Lawyer, and then I hit, I believe, The Reversal and The Fifth Witness, and I was like, you know what, I need to back up. I have technically read these, though, but we're going to wait to cross them out until we get to them, because I have them on audiobook. I don't remember them super well, because I listened to them when I was postpartum. Spoiler alert, you never remember anything when you're postpartum. So we're going to have to revisit those. Or Lincoln Lawyer, Jack McAvoy. We did read The Poet. That was the Jack McAvoy book. I like that one a lot. It was him discovering a serial killer of cops who made them a serial unaliver of police officers who made everything look like a self-unaliving. I'm gonna have to watch how we talk in this book. I might put an age restriction on this just to make sure super clear and simple that we are cool with the gods of YouTube. All right. Other Night Bloodwork is the one I'm reading right now, but haven't touched any of these. Okay. My Holy Grail. Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere. Okay. So, I have been dancing around the Cosmere for a while, and we are in it at this point. We are in it. So, in the Cosmere, there are 20 books, and I'm going to just, the ones I have read, we're going to check them off as we go, okay? I'm going off an order that I found online. There is no hard or fast order into reading the Cosmere. I will post a link to the article I'm using to decide on my order down below. So, yeah, this is where we're at. And I color-coded them again. So if they're in white, they're in this pink, they're in Mistborn. The green is standalone, a graphic novel. Yellow is the Stormlight Archive, and dark green is the Wax and Wane series, or the second era of Mistborn. I've heard a rumor that he's thinking about a third era of Mistborn, and I would be so down for that. I love that. All right, so let's get into it. Book 1 would be Mistborn, The Final Empire. I have 100% read that, reread that several times. I listen to that audiobook at least once a year, I feel like. Then we have Well of Ascension. Definitely read that too. So, love Well of Ascension. Love me some Well of Ascension. And then we'll grab a Loki girl. We have Hero of Ages. That's also a great book. 3. And then 4. That is, in the order I devised, The Way of Kings. I have read that. That was a good one. A little apple for The Way of Kings. Okay. 5 is Warbreaker. That's a standalone novel. I have read that. I'm just sort of grabbing stickers at random, not paying a lot of attention. 6 is Words of Radiance. I just finished that. Or no, I didn't just finish that. Words of Radiance. We'll give Words of Radiance this little bird. This little bird's cute. Book 7 is Elantris. 100% just finished that. Loved that book. That was a really good book. Do a little crown for Elantris. A little Sleeping Beauty crown. And that's where it stops in terms of our Cosmere reads. Actually, no, I lied. So I have also started the Wax and Wayne series. I read the first 2 books in the Wax and Wayne series, and then I stopped because I wanted to back up to do the Cosmere. I am going to read them again, but we're going to mark them off now. I know I did not do that for the Harry Bosch universe, but we're going to do it for this one because that's what I feel like. I don't know how else to describe it. So we're marking off 12 and 13 because we did read 12 and we did read 13. 12. Got birthday cake and 13. We'll go with a Unalived Among Us guy because if you know, you know for what that book is. Unlucky number 13. Poor Wayne. Okay, and then the other one I have read in this series out of order is number 17, Tress and the Emerald Sea, which is one of my all-time favorite books. I don't even know if I have a good sticker to do that one justice. We'll do these little headphones for number 17. I love Tress and the Emerald Sea. I tell everyone to read Tress and the Emerald Sea. So yes, my stickers are out of order, but we're rolling with it. We don't care. Okay. And then we have the series wheels. So we have read all of the Final Empire, all of the Mistborn series. So this whole whip wheel here is going to get filled in. It is a Monday night right now, and I feel like I have just been trying to find a good time to film this. It's hard to find times to film when there's a baby in the house. So, FYI, everyone always says this. Mistborn the Final Empire is like, although I don't know because Tress and the Emerald Sea might take the cake, but this is one of my favorite books by Brandon Sanderson. If I could get Mistborn fan art in diamond painting form, or even licensed Mistborn art in diamond painting form, I don't care if I was on a no-buy or a detox. I don't care what is going on. I would buy that so fast everybody else would have whiplash. I love Vin so much. She is one of my all-time favorite characters in any book, let alone a Brandon Sanderson book. Followed by Tress. I love Tress. Brandon Sanderson, I think, writes women very well. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, so we're filling in. That is the original Mistborn trilogy. Read. All right. And then in the Stormlight Archive, I have read 2 books in the Stormlight Archive. I have read The Way of Kings. Now, the Stormlight Archive is definitely not where I would say to start if you are new to Brandon Sanderson. The Stormlight Archive is it's intense. It's each book's like over 1,000 pages, whether you get it as mass market or regular binding. I forget what it's called. Not mass market binding. I get them as mass market. If you don't know the difference, mass market is the shorter, thicker books. It's a cheaper kind of binding than the regular binding you get in books. I'm blanking on the difference of what they're called, but that is what it is. So, all right. Then, just gonna color that in. Again, probably you have seen better binders. Have not read any of the rest of these. I left a space in the Stormlight Archive Part 2 just in case. All right, and then we're coming up to this. Have read The Alloy of Law. I like the time jump between the books in the Wax and the Wayne series just because I was like, this is fascinating. This is super interesting. Like, seeing how the technology has progressed and how technology changes, how these people use their magic is really very interesting to me. I really enjoyed seeing that. And like the idea of people who are, I almost said metal benders, but that's an Avatar: The Last Airbender reference. People who are allomancers having more metal in their life is just very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Shadows of Self, we read that. Okay. And other. Okay. We have to color in half of the square. Thing. I did not realize that. Have read Warbreaker. That one was an interesting one. So that one's about color and breath and people, you know, like different cultures and maybe even a little bit of colonialism, but the kind of growth that the main character goes through is insane. Elantris, I just finished, obviously. Loved it. Everyone says that Elantris doesn't really flow as well, and I can tell it's his first book. He makes some beginning writing mistakes in those. Not that I'm one to judge, because I'm sure my first book, if I ever got published, would be worse, but... All right, and then I have to do Trust in the Emerald Sea in green, obviously. So, yeah, that is our progress on the Cosmere. And again, I know I didn't even go in the own order that I set myself, but it is what it is. I'll probably listen to some of these audiobooks again at 2 times speed when I get to them, just to remind myself about what happened. Yeah, so let me count real quick. Out of the 20, is it 20? Yes, the 20 books in the Cosmere, I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're exactly halfway through the Cosmere before even starting this, and that's exciting. Yay. I left room again because I have a feeling he's going to publish more books. All right. That is it for the coloring and the adding of stickers, because next up, I have had Audible for years, and over the years I have accumulated odds and ends. Like just random books that I use to buy credits and never listen to. So this is me writing them all out. Spoiler alert, they're mostly nonfiction. So nonfiction, fantasy, fancy fiction, which is lit fiction in my mind, and YA or children's. Spoiler alert, they're mostly nonfiction. 14 odds and end books, just books that are just sitting in my Audible library. I left myself some room in case I forgot some, because there's a non-zero chance of that. Completion list, again, just a way to track when I finish them. Sticker countdown. I did not leave myself room here, which is probably a mistake, but I guess that's what decimals were invented for. And my genre wheels. So I'm probably going to finish listening to Bloodwork and then pick one of these. Loopholes. I did give myself loopholes. I am going to allow myself to get In the House of My Mother by Cheryl Frankie. If you have not looked into the Frankie case, there's an amazing documentary about it on Hulu. Go watch it right now. I'm allowed to get Cosmere novels on audiobook. I'm allowed to get books in the Harry Bosch universe on audiobook. And I'm allowed to, if there is a title in the Audible freebie library that I like, I'm allowed to listen to that. However, we're not buying a ton more audiobooks until we just go through. So this was a brand new notebook. I did not put anything in it. And if we look, I have taken up over half the pages with this detox. So that is what it is. I hope that you are interested and excited about that. I'll put links for some of the stuff I was using down below. I don't have any affiliation. I do this mostly for fun. Some of them I don't remember where I got it, but if I remember where I got it, I'll put a link for it down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that your caffeine is hitting just right and that your crafting or reading, I'll say reading in this book, in this video too, is going well. And I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.